Brad, I think we're good to go. What's up? I'm here with Ashley, founder of Love Not Lost, which is a super incredible nonprofit social enterprise that helps people heal through grief. Actually, I'll let you kind of explain it in a second. But the first thing I wanted to ask is, we connected at the end of last year, beginning of this year. What was going on in your organization that you were hoping to achieve, and how does that play into like your greater mission and what Love Not Lost is all about?
Yeah. So when we connected, we were in the midst of like a massive transition, and I wasn't sure if it was the right time to engage with you because I was like, there's still so much up in the air. Like, we're trying out this new platform. I don't know if it's going to work. Like, is it worth writing out all this stuff for something that might not work? And anyway, so Love Not Lost, our mission is to help people heal in grief. And one of the ways we wanted to do that was to create an online community where our volunteers who help us photograph people facing a terminal diagnosis could all gather and serve families easily, but also have a community. And the platform that we found allowed us to actually open up the community to anyone and everyone. And it was actually so we've launched it. It's been great, and I'm really glad that we started working together when we did, because it was really helpful to have your guidance through that transition.
Cool. Yeah, I appreciate the kind words. In the midst of your transition and all the things that were going on at that time, what was the bottleneck you were facing? What was slowing you down? What was sort of why weren't you getting to where you wanted to go as quickly as you would have hoped?
Yeah, I think the biggest bottleneck we had was just technology. Like, we tried one platform and it didn't work the way that we had hoped it would, and just trying to find the technology that could do everything that we needed it to. And so when we finally found that, that was in January, and then it was okay. So now we think we have this technology, and how do we communicate it, and how do we present it, and how do we um, engage people in a way that's meaningful? And so then it really became about our communication, which is where you came in.
Yeah, sweet. That tends to be where I come in. So I love that. I love that even at the beginning you were asking the right questions. Not everyone agrees with me, but I really believe that the big domino when it comes to growing a business, growing a nonprofit, just getting the word out is the way that we communicate our idea more so than any random tactic like trying to get our social media right or our ads right, or it's the way that we communicate our ideas. And so it's really cool that you were asking those questions right up front. I know a big thing that we worked through was trying to piece together how to communicate, one, to multiple stakeholders, but two, like our organization as a whole at the same time. And that's something a lot of organizations, nonprofit or otherwise, struggle with. Real quick, who are the big people that you serve? Who are the stakeholders in Love Not Lost?
Yeah. So I mean, the first and main one is families facing a terminal diagnosis or families facing loss, and um, and so that's something that we offer a free portrait session to preserve memories and really support loved ones through grief. The next is our donors, of course, because without them, our work wouldn't be possible. And then really the third kind of stakeholder is the photographer, the creative volunteer, who really comes alongside of us to help us offer these sessions to families on a much greater scale than we could do without them. And so those are kind of like our three key buckets that you and I worked on to develop, as far as what are their problems, how do we really connect with them on a deeper level.
Sweet. Yeah, the first question we always got to ask is who is our who? Who is it that we're trying to serve, and where are they in the life? In their life, how can we show up in a way that serves them where they're at and takes them where they want to go and where they need to go? So yeah, that was a huge thing we worked through, was really identifying who each bucket, who each person in each bucket, is,
Mhm.
and then what we had to say to them. How do you feel like, you know, how do you feel like your thinking through that process has been transformed, or how do you think it's different from when we started working together to now? Like when you go out to talk to photographers or when you want to just explain your mission, what's different now?
So you and I both have the background of learning from Donald Miller's Story Brand conference. So that was something I really appreciated working with you, because I was like, okay, cool, we speak the same language. We're all, on the same page as far as this hero journey, right? But one thing I really appreciated that you brought to the table on top of that was really like the transformation arc. And what is this person before they come in contact with Love Not Lost, and then who are they afterwards, and what does this transformation look like, and how do we get there? And for me, that was kind of like the big aha moment, because like, you can sit with, for example, like a photographer. So their philosophical problem, if you're using the story brand language, it's like they want to give back and maybe they just don't know how, you know. But when you and I like really dove into their needs, it's like, and really what they want to accomplish, and what that looks like in the transformation, it's like, you know, really creating work that's worthwhile and that has, lifelong impact, um, that really, really actually truly makes a difference in the world. And so I kind of work through that transformation, and just some of the wording around, what photographers are looking for, and how they can really engage with us on that deeper level. It really helped us as we went to conferences to recruit photographers, because we would lead with, hey, like, are you looking for a way to give back? Um, like, are you looking for a way to take meaningful pictures? Because, like, weddings are definitely special. Um, Portraits are special, but at the end of the day, like, you can be replaced. And there are thousands of photographers, hundreds of thousands of photographers that do weddings and portraits. But this picture that you take of this family who's facing loss, like, that can never be replaced, you know? And so that was a really great conversation to bring into talking with photographers to recruit them.
Sweet. And when you were, let's say, at a conference or something, and you led with those questions, are you looking to take meaningful pictures or do you want to give back? What was the kind of response that you would get from people?
Yeah, I mean, it was genuine, like, yes, like, I am, like, how do you know? um and so, and also too, we would share our story of like, hey, like, I lost my daughter, we had these photos, we want to do this for other people because it really does help people heal. And then you'd hear someone say like, oh my gosh, like, I lost my cousin to cancer, like, I would love to give back in this way. Or, like, there was also like the personal connection too. So but you'd see people just like light up and come alive and be like, yes, like, I've been looking for this, and like, I do have this big heart to give back, and I haven't figured out a place to use it or give, I don't know how to give back. And so that was really nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. For people watching who might not know, the crux of the story brand framework, I mean, I'm biased, but for me personally, is like empathy, right? We always want to show up with empathy and authority. In other words, we want to show up and say, hey, like, I get it, I understand, I care, and I can help you overcome that problem. And the quickest way to develop empathy is just to call out the problem that someone has, right? Nothing is worse than trying to explain a problem, or even having a problem that we keep to ourselves and someone just kind of talks past it. There's limited efficacy to that, right? But when we're able to call out our problem and say, hey, we know what you're going through, and we're here to serve you and help you overcome that and get to the other side of that, that's the most powerful driver of empathy, and then quote unquote marketing we could have. But really great marketing is just showing up with a heart of service. I think so anyway. um, Let me ask you, when it comes to, either our coaching sessions together, the video models you went through, the worksheets, anything else, what was sort of the biggest value you got out of our work together?
honestly, it was someone that had like a similar understanding and knowledge and background. Like I said, you and I both came from the story brand framework. We also are huge fans of Ramit Sethi. We have a lot of similar outlook on like learning and communication, and so it was really, really nice to have like I viewed you as like a counterpart to brainstorm and you know think through ideas and just have like a sounding board. And I think there were times that you were talking and I was like, oh shoot, I'm not recording this, because you would like say things that I was like, oh, that was perfect, like go back. And so yeah, so it was like really helpful to have your input, but then also just to be a sounding board too, and like let me talk through things and ask good questions to challenge me deeper. And so yeah, and it was really nice too, because I don't have anyone on my team who can currently do that, or who has the space to really do that, even if they have the ability.
Yeah.
And so that was really, really helpful.
Yeah. You and I are both verbal processors, and sometimes it can be hard to just keep everything locked up there. And, I've got notebooks, I don't know, probably more notebooks than actual books. Uh, but there's, sometimes it's just hard to replace having someone else to, I don't know, react with a real facial expression to something you say, and or someone to kind of turn the light bulb on for you. So that's great. I'm really happy I could be of service in that way to you. Is there anything that while working together surprised you that was unexpected about our work together?
Um, I don't know that there was anything that was surprising. Um, I mean, I felt like I had a pretty clear expectation of what we would be going through and all of that. Um, I think if anything, it was like, uh, I would just like come home and basically to my husband be like, "Oh, I'm so thankful for Zach. Like, I'm so glad that we can like talk through this, and he can like help guide me through this decision making and kind of like this direction of where we're headed, because it was such a time of transition that it was really nice to have, again, just like it felt like you were another team member, who had my back, where it was just like, okay, like I'm not in this alone. And if anything, that was surprising, of just like how helpful that was.
Yeah, I love that you said that. That makes me like just feel warm and fuzzy inside. Like, whether we're working together, coaching together, or not, wherever we end up in the world. I guess I tend to end up more places, but I've definitely got your back. I'm in your corner, all the time. So, always an email away, always a WhatsApp away, only for you, not for other people. But sure, sure. I've definitely got your back. I love that. I love what you're doing. Um, let's kind of wrap up, and let me ask you, we identified the big buckets, the stakeholders you were talking to, how to communicate our mission, how to lead with the not just the a problem, but the right one that gets people hooked in. And we did a lot of stuff with your online messaging. What have been the results that you've seen as you've talked to people or as you're building the community? And what are you kind of working on now?
Yeah, so the results have just been great feedback on, um, you know, one, just signups. Obviously, that's like an easy way to quantify the results is people actually signing up and joining our community. Um, I think a lot of it too goes back to those conversations with photographers and the connection, um, talking with donors and sharing with them, this new community that we've launched. And yeah, I feel like there's a great response overall. And I feel like we have our messaging pretty dialed in. What we're working on now is on the corporate side of things. So like getting the corporate sponsors and partners to help fund us so we can continue to grow. And so we've been working on, a big like case statement kind of pitch deck that we have hopefully wrapped up this week. And yeah, and now it's, applying for grants, applying for funding, looking for partners and sponsors to help us keep doing the work.
Sweet. at the time of recording, we're just about at the halfway point to the year. Where do you hope you're at by the end of 2022?
You know, um, right now we are just onboarding people into the new platform. And so what I'd really like to see is to have, all of our photographers in the platform active, claiming sessions that are available in their area. I'd like to be in at least one other major city in the US. So right now we're just in Atlanta, Georgia, as far as our partnerships with hospitals. And so the part of the joy of this platform is like it will allow us to scale to a national level very quickly. And so I'd like to see enough photographers in one major city to partner with another hospital in another major city. I think we'll have enough to do that either in DC or Vegas or Nashville. And those are kind of like the three where we've seen the most support so far. So I'd like to see that by the end of the year, and then just continuing to grow. So adding photographers to the platform, partnering with hospitals so that we can get referrals, so that it's like this fine dance of making sure that we have enough photographers to serve a hospital, but also not overwhelming any one side of it. And so it's yeah. So I'm hoping that by the end of the year we have enough people to bring on a hospital, and photographers, regardless of what state they're in, are serving with Love Not Lost, and not only having a joy of serving and giving back, but also finding healing and health and growth within themselves too.
Sweet. That is so cool. I love the vision. I love the mission. I love how clearly you communicate it, obviously. And so that's so cool. There's one more question I want to ask, and then I'll kind of ask how people can learn more about you. But a lot of people that I talk to, they're down with the idea that communication is really the key or the domino. But a lot of times they're not sure whether it's for them, whether it's for their organization, if now is the right time. Kind of, you were in that situation where you weren't sure if now is really the time for you to take advantage of it. What would you say to someone who's on the fence about coaching or working on our communications together?
You know, like, so if it's someone specifically with you, I would say to just go ahead and jump in, because you're so flexible and you're so able to adapt, and in changing times. So, when we signed up together, I don't even know if we had fully committed to the platform that we're on now. But anyway, it was like, I basically brought you and I was like, I don't know where we're headed. I don't know. This could be crazy. Like, we're probably hiring a new teammate. We're probably doing this. Like, I don't know. And so I would just encourage people to start working with you, because you can, if they're confused or even if they're like unsure of the direction, like that's part of what you bring to the table, is like talking through that focus of like, okay, do you know this about your people? And if not, let's start there. Or, you know, like where do you sit with your email stuff? Like, what do you want to accomplish? Like, okay, let's maybe focus there or whatever. So I think that's part of the service that you bring, is helping people kind of focus in on the communication that needs to come first. So yeah, just start, because like, even if you maybe aren't quite there yet, like with where you want to be, this process of coaching is so helpful with bringing clarity to other things as well. And so it's a really helpful process no matter where you are. But certainly if you're working towards something or developing something new, or need to clarify something, or rebrand something even, it's an incredibly valuable process. So just jump in.
Right, that's cool. Actually, I really, I have so much gratitude to you and what you're saying. You're really raising my vibration. I was gonna take a nap, but now I now got to go for a run or something instead. So love this. Um, cool. I mean, I think that's kind of the main things that I want to touch on for you, unless there's something else that you want to share. But Now, feel free to share that and tell me where people can learn more about you, more about Love Not Lost. How can people learn more and get involved?
Yeah, so Love Not Lost can be found on all the social medias at lovenotlost.org. And our website is lovenotlost.org. And if you want to check out the new community, it is lovewell.impact.app. And in our Instagram handle, we have, the link tree with all of the links to help you get there faster. On our website, you can find things there too. So yeah, don't be a stranger. I love connecting with people and hearing about other people's journeys. And yeah, I'm an extrovert, so reach out.
Rad. I cannot wait to see what happens in the next 6 months and then far beyond as you expand into the fullest extent of your vision. So, Ashley, thanks so much for coming on today to the Superficial Show. Um,
Awesome.
yes, I will. I'll end the recording here, and we can keep chatting. But
Perfect.
appreciate this.